So your next task is to come up with some ideas for your name. First of all, feel free to do a Google search of fonts. Look at some different types of fonts for inspiration. When you find a couple that you like, go ahead and start trying them out in your sketchbook. So if you have a sketchbook, that's great, or even just a notebook or some scrap paper would be fine. But brainstorming and practicing is so important in the creative process. As an artist, you never want to just take your final copy paper and go with your first idea. When you brainstorm and come up with multiple ideas, it will really give you the opportunity to make the most thoughtful project you can, and be intentional and make really good decisions. So anyway, here I've got my notebook, and you can see it's nothing fancy, but it's giving me a chance to come up with some ideas. I used my pencil and I just kind of sketched out some different types of letters. And what I like to do is just start with simple lines. So to create these fonts, I just started by like writing out the word just with lines. And then from there, you can kind of modify them, add a double line, add little end caps. For this one, I just put a double line and then added little circles to the ends. So I kind of like to start with the structure of just simple lines, kind of sketching out the name and then building the font around that. In the end, I decided to go with this one. I thought it was fun and cute and kind of whimsical. So what I would want you to do is to go ahead and circle the font that you would like to go with. That'll help me as your teacher to figure out when you submit your photo where you're headed and which one you've chosen, and give you some feedback on that. The next task would be to then put that into your final copy. So once again, jumping ahead a little bit, you can see how I added my font into one of the larger sections of my composition. The thing I want you to keep in mind when you put your name into your final piece of artwork is the placement. I want you to be creative with that, because if I just had the name floating in a bunch of white space, it would look a lot different than having it connect to lines that are already there. And I highly suggest kind of having it interact or play with the lines that are already there. It just kind of gives it a nice look and helps to kind of connect different components. This is going to serve as a focal point, which adds emphasis to our piece. Emphasis is one of the principles of design. And so what that does is just attracts attention, makes your artwork interesting. So that's where you're headed with the name. So when you go to put your name on your final copy, once again, you'd want to draw very, very lightly, sketch it in, allow yourself to make some changes. And as far as the name goes, you definitely want to be able to erase, because it's going to take, I had to tweak this like 3 or 4 times before I got it just right. So that's just some advice for you. Have fun working on your name.